The MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Edge Boost. Edge Boost enables you to double your bet with no interest. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge to get started today. Welcome, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It is Thursday, June the 1st, currently 5:03 on the East Coast, here to handicap the games in the MLB for the Friday schedule. And joining me here to help me break it down, you guys know him as the voice of the NFL Gambling Podcast. And, of course, here on the MLB Gambling Podcast and the WNBA Gambling Podcast, it's Dylan Rockford. D-Rock, how you feeling, my man?
I'm feeling all right. It's a scorcher over here on the East Coast today, trying to get a tan. But other than that, we're looking good for the lock. The under for the Rockies and D-backs looking good. Fish didn't get there. Padres, their offense finally blew up after we talked about them yesterday, Munaf. But overall, doing well. Glad to be with you boys today.
Usually when you call someone out, the opposite happens the next day. So maybe I'm going to have to write the one down what you do today and bet on it to happen. But yeah, it was a pretty good day for me as well. Both of my lock and dog have gotten over the line. Had your Mets -1.5.
Nice.
Alvarez made a stupid throw in the first inning, and it had me kind of nervous. But Max Scherzer continued to dominate again, as he has been since he returned from the suspension. That one got over the line, and then the Blue Jays took care of business early in that first inning, had 3-0 lead, and pretty much coasted the rest of the way. So hopefully we can find some more winners here. But also joining us here, you guys know him as the voice of the NBA Gambling Podcast. Maybe we'll bring him back for the MLB. We'll see how he does today. It's Lonte Otani. This guy just loves his names. What's going on, Lonte? How you doing? No, long time no talk, my man.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, since earlier. Feeling good, man. My first time on. Hopefully can get out some winners. I'm totally not as sharp as on MLB as I am in NBA, but still got some room for value here. So hopefully we can get that done and get some winners on the diamond.
Well, you're already at an advantage if you're already better than Malcolm. So you already have that. You're already up on the power rankings.
Nah, man, I don't know about that.
But yeah, yesterday's pod, 7 games only on the schedule because it's usually a getaway day and Thursdays, and then teams having days off. But Friday, brand new series starting. We have some pretty good series for the weekend, so we'll handicap all of them. Just at the top, like we usually do, the games that don't have lines right now are going to be the 2 Sox games, the Red Sox and the Rays. No pitcher yet for the Red Sox as of our recording time right now, and then also for the White Sox, no pitcher for them as of 5 o'clock Eastern on Thursday. So again, good reminder to check out all of our picks over on our website, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/MLB picks. And gentlemen, let's just dive right into it. 15 games schedule in the MLB. First game on the board here. Let me get over to my odds screen, and we have. Let's start it off with a 5:10 Eastern start. We have the Milwaukee Brewers. They are in Cincinnati to take on the Reds. Corbin Burns is getting the start here for the Brewers, and Brandon Williamson gets the start here for the Cincinnati Reds. Currently seeing the Brewers are a -180 road favorite, +155 on the money line for the home puppies. Total set at 9.5, run line -1.5, -120 for the Brewers, and +1.5 at even money for the Reds. D-Rock, lead us off, man.
Yeah, going with the under. I see some 10s out there on FanDuel, so shop around. I still like under 9.5. You could get that. I know the Reds, they've been hot, and I don't really blame anyone for taking a stab with them, but I need at least a +180 to be on the home puppy. I like the under a little better. I set my total at 9.2. Corbin Burnes, he's kind of been, up and down this season for whatever reason, actually ever since the second half of last season. But on the road, he's been much better than at home. Batters only hitting 200 off of him. Reds, they're kind of middle in the pack against righties. As for Brandon Williamson, this is his fourth start of the year, second at home. And the Reds have, they've won every game he started so far, and they've all been in shootouts. So the good thing is for us, the Brewers stink against lefties. They only hit 209 off of them. We also have winds blowing in. I know it is a hitter's ballpark, but I think 10, now that we've gotten up to 10, I think it's just a little too high. So going to be on the under here in this one.
Lonte, what do you got for this game?
Yeah, I'm kind of agreeing with you on the under. I thought Burnes, since the second half of last season, I don't know if he's maybe lost some confidence or what, but yeah, he's been missing on a few of his pitches that he was hitting on earlier on in last season. So I think he still has an advantage against Cincinnati. I know D-Rock brought it up. He pitches better on the road than he does at home, so that's his advantage. Cincinnati's being feisty, but I think Burnes, coming off a couple of shaky starts, I think he comes in and locks it down. I probably would look at more so the team total for Cincinnati to go under rather than the full total, because maybe the Brewers can get to Williamson a little bit early. I know his ERA is a little bit over 5, so it just depends on how you feel about the total. I do agree with the under, but my stronger play would probably be on the Cincinnati team total to go under.
Yeah, I mean, Corbin Burnes since the 2021 season with the record against the Reds is 2-0 with a 2.36 ERA, 34 strikeouts and 4 appearances. And if you want to go all the way back in his entire career, he's fared pretty well against the Reds as well. 14 appearances. And I only filtered it down since 2021. Is that because that's when he became an actual starter for the Milwaukee Brewers. But overall in his career, he has a 2-1 record with a 2.53 ERA, 56 strikeouts. So total of 42 and 2/3 innings pitch. He's only allowed 12 earned runs in that span. So I want to get behind the Brewers here, but it just makes me nervous about, like Dylan mentioned, that they haven't been very good against left-handed pitching. I believe they're bottom in the league in most of those statistical categories, are offensive statistical categories against left-handed pitching. So I think under, I agree with you guys. This number, it does seem a little bit inflated. So under for me in this game as well. Next game on the board. Let's go over to a 6:40 Eastern start. We got the Oakland A's. They are in Miami. South Beach to take on the Miami Marlins. Hogan Harris is getting the start here for the Oakland A's, and Edward Cabrera gets the start here for the Miami Marlins. Minus 200 are the Miami Marlins, plus 170 on the money line for the Oakland A's. Total is set at 8.5 with a little bit of vig towards the over at minus 115. Run line minus 1.5 even money for the Marlins, and plus 1.5 minus 120 for the Oakland A's. Lonte, lead us off for this game, man. What do you got?
Yeah, man. So I'm going with another under again. I think obviously we don't have to go into detail about how horrible Oakland and what they do on both sides of the like in the field and the batter's box. So I won't go into depth on that. Cabrera's allowed 2 runs in his last 4 home starts. 2 runs in each of his last 4 home starts, I should say. He should have success against the A's lineup. He's had 5+ Ks in 8 straight games. So I look for him to fan a lot of those Oakland batters. They won 2 of 3 against Atlanta, much because I had Atlanta in the parlay, like both of those games, and of course they lost. But I like the under more than anything in the game. I just don't think Oakland will have the offense to get off on Cabrera as much as they would if they were at home, I would say. So they're pretty much, last in all the offensive categories. Miami is 28th in runs scored, so I don't look for a lot of runs to be scored here. So I'm on the under. I think I see it 8.5.
Yeah, 8.5.
Yeah, so I'll play the 8.5 under. If you want to play Miami, I would play them early on. I would probably play the first 5. I wouldn't lay it with the I think it's like 175, 177 I see on the screen right now. But more so, I would play the under as my stronger play, and Miami first 5 if you're interested in playing Miami on the side.
Yeah, Miami's tops in a lot of categories, offensive categories against left-handed pitching. Over the course of the season, they are number 3 in team batting average against left-handed pitching, number 6 in on-base percentage, number 7 in slugging percentage, number 4 in OPS, and WRC plus they are number 5. So pretty much top 5 in a lot of those categories. So I think that's where they can probably take advantage here. I know Hogan Harris had a great start against the Astros in his last game, 5 innings pitch, only 1 hit, didn't allow any earned runs. And against the Mets, he did get blown up in a third of an inning. He allowed 6 earned runs to the New York Mets, 5 walks in that game. So I do like the Marlins here. I would probably take him on the run line here. I know it's a hefty price of -200 on Edward Cabrera, but it's kind of telling when you have a -200 favorite in the run lines at -1.5 at about half that price at even money. So Marlins here for me. D-Rock, what do you got?
Yeah, I kind of agree with both of you. I'm going to take the agree under. I set my line at 8.1, so I don't think runs are going to be at a premium in this one. I see plus 105, so like Munaf says, shop around. But to get that down from $2 to plus 105, I'll take a shot with the fish on the run line. Edward Cabrera is just a much different pitcher at home than on the road. For starters, the Marlins have won 3 of his 4 starts at home this season, and his numbers are just better. You know, his walks are lower, and we've always mentioned it throughout the season. Walks are an issue. He's only given up 8 runs, and batters are hitting 222 off of him at home. So I think the fish could score a bunch of runs off of Harris. Like you said, he did have a solid outing against the Astros, but in his last start, he gave up 6 runs in half an inning to this Met team. And Mets don't really score that much runs. Trust me, I'm the harshest critic on the Mets. But, you know, if the Mets are scoring 6 runs in half an inning on you, I think the Marlins could score a bunch. Marlins, they hit almost 300 off of lefties. I think the fish win big here. So I'll take the fish on the run line.
All right. Before we continue the conversation here, let me tell everyone about the new sponsor on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. That is going to be Edge Boost. Edge Boost is the world's first bet now, pay later Visa card. Edge currently offers up to $2,500 in betting advances, which can be extremely valuable tool. Imagine what you can do with an increased bankroll. Get down on some of your favorite futures without tying up your bankroll for months. Double down on your favorite bet you like, or even use to create an awesome middle opportunity or even a hedge opportunity. Edge Boost isn't some sleazy loan shark, as they charge 0 interest. Do you know of a way to access more money to place on your favorite bets without paying interest? Look, I know this sounds too good to be true, but it's legitimate. Check them out, Edge Boost, and help support the SGPN and grow your bankroll by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge to sign up. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/edge. Must be 21 or older to use. Problem gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, guys, next game on the board. Let's go over to the nation's capital, the Philadelphia Phillies. They are going to be visiting the Washington Nationals. Currently seeing Zach Wheeler is going to get the start here for the Phillies, and Josiah Gray gets the start here for the Washington Nationals. -190 money line price for the Phillies, +160 on the money line for the Nationals. Total is set at 8.5 with a little bit of vig towards the over. Run line -1.5, -115 for the Phillies, and +1.5, -105 for the Nationals. Lonte, take us away.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, I like Zach Wheeler on the mound. He's coming off a great performance. He fan 12 against the Braves, and the Braves are one of the best offensive teams in the league. He threw 8 scoreless against them, so the confidence is growing. Would like to see their bats get a little bit more consistent. But I think Philly is going to blow them out here. I think they're coming in with knowing they have the ace on the mound, so they're not going to be as reluctant to, swing at bad balls or do certain things. When it's a different mindset when the hitters know they have a pitcher who's to the caliber of Wheeler. So I think the bats get going here. I do like Josiah Gray. He's been throwing less innings in the last 2 games, though. He was averaging around like 7.5 innings over a 6-game stretch, but only 5 and 4 in his most recent outings so he's been getting roughed up early. And the Phillies, they've been inconsistent as of late, but I think they can get back on track against the Nationals here today. The Nationals have given up 5 or more runs in 5 of the last 7 games. So I think the Philly team total over is a great look here. I will look and play them on the run line also.
D-Rock?
Yeah, lean under 9. And I also lean the home puppy as well. I'm seeing +155 at home with JoJo Gray. I'll take that. I only made the Phillies a minus 150 favorite. The Phillies, they just got swept by the Mets. They're not playing the best baseball. They've scored 3 runs in the whole series. The bats have just gone cold for whatever reason. I'll take the better pitcher, in my opinion, with JoJo Gray at home. He's only allowed more than 1 run one time, and it was his first start of the year. But besides that game, he's been lights out at home. He usually keeps the Nationals in game. There's no way the Phillies should be this big of a favorite, in my opinion. So I'll strictly bet in the number here. I'll take the home puppy in the Nationals. I also lean under as well.
Josiah Gray has been really good. Like Dylan mentioned, right? He's only allowed more than 2 earned runs in 1 start so far this season, which came against the Arizona Diamondbacks in Arizona. And the Nationals have won 3 of his last 4 starts. Now, historically against the Phillies, he has struggled. This dates back to 2021. He's 1-2 with a 5.40 ERA, 25 strikeouts, and 5 appearances. And last season, he did have 3 appearances in against the Phillies, I should say, where in 1 start, he got blown up for 6 earned runs. He allowed 4 home runs in that game. And then the other 2 starts, he pitched 12 innings combined and only allowed 2 earned runs. So I think there is some value here on the Nationals. I'll lean with the Nationals. I do like the under in this game as well, under 8.5 for me for this game between the Phillies and the Nationals. All right, guys, next game on the board, we got the 7:05 Eastern start, St. Louis Cardinals and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Jack Flaherty gets to start here for the St. Louis Cardinals, and Ronce Contreras gets to start for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Minus 135 on the money line for the Cardinals and plus 115 on the money line for the home puppy, the Pirates. Total set at 8.5 with a little bit of big towards the over at minus 120. Run line minus 1.5 plus 120 for the Cardinals and plus 1.5 minus 140 for the Pirates. D-Rock, lead us off.
Yeah, give me the over 8.5 in this one. Made my total 8.9. I think I like what I've seen from Jack Flaherty his last few starts. His last 4 starts, he's gone 23 innings, only allowed 7 runs, and the Cardinals have won all 4 of those games. He does need to keep the walks down. They can be an issue, especially against a Pirates team, who do draw some walks. So another good thing, when Flaherty is on the mound, we tend to see shootouts. 8 of his 9 starts this season have skied over the numbers. So when he's out there, we see shootouts. It's the same thing with Contreras. At home, he gives up a ton of runs. 4 of his last 5 starts at home have gone over the number. So I think both pitchers are good for a few runs here. I'm going to be on the over 8.5. It's a little chalky at minus 120, but I still like it.
Lonte?
Yeah, I'm gonna lean with the home pup here in the Pirates. I've been a somewhat firm believer or somewhat firm bettor on the Pirates throughout the whole season. I was reading earlier that they're gonna get O'Neal Cruz back pretty soon. He was getting out of the walking boot, I think, a few days ago, so he should be back. I will ask you guys, you think there's any value on him to win the division right now? I'm not seeing a large price, but I mean, you think with O'Neal coming back and Keller pitching well, I think this might be a chance to get in on them to win that division also. I know it's off topic, but just wanted to get you guys' opinion on that.
I know they started off red hot and they have regressed a little bit. I'm trying to look at what their record has been over the last 20 or about 10 to 15 games, but they're 6-4. 4-6 over their last 10 games, I believe. Mm-hmm. That division right now seems wide open, right? We thought, I think a lot of us did pick the Cardinals to win this division, but they've kind of gotten out of the gate really slow. And that's kind of the beauty of baseball, that you have 162 games that you could get off to a slow start, but you can make up a lot of ground as the season kind of progresses, through the months of June, July, and August. So I think right now, I think it's a great time to get on not only NL Central division odds or any division odds that seem appealing to you, because now is that time where teams start making up ground where they are behind, because these next couple months are really gonna, we'll see teams kind of separate themselves, the good from the bad. So, I mean, if you're getting a nice, plus price on it, I wouldn't mind putting a couple dollars on it, but I still feel like that St. Louis has another gear here. I think they will make a trade at the trade deadline for a pitcher. Yeah. So, I think my bet's still on the Cardinals here, but, Dylan, you already gave the handicap, right?
I gave it, but real quick, I'm seeing at plus 900. I think it's worth a sprinkle. I mean, them and the Cardinals are literally the only 2 teams in the NL Central with a plus run differential. So Plus 900, I don't think the Cubs will be in it. We all know the Reds won't be. Brewers, I think, will tail off. And the Pirates, they're only a half a game out of
Right,
the
that's what I was
lead right
saying,
now.
yeah.
So at plus 900 to have the fourth best odds, I think it is worth a sprinkle. But you're right. I do think the Cardinals will make a move. I do think they'll win. There's no value in the Cardinals right now.
Yeah. That was much. It was more so just number, just looking at the number and thinking, I mean, only a half game back with those odds, you know. And I mean, I know that St. Louis usually comes on later in the season. It's just what they do in that city. So, but yeah, I'm a fan of what they got going on in Pittsburgh with that team. Like you mentioned, D-Rock, they walk a lot. They get on base. They're second in stolen bases when they get on base. So they're making progress with getting on the bag. So I think a team like that with O'Neal coming back to bring a spark in that lineup and his fielding also. So yeah, I think it's worth a shot, man. I like at home against Flaherty.
Flaherty has actually been really good in his career against the Pirates. 9-1 with a 2.57 ERA, 84 strikeouts in 15 appearances. And since 2022, let me filter it down because lineups and things like that change. He's 1-0. The ERA does go up to 4.20. It was really two starts early on last season. One start back in June 15th where he allowed 3 earned runs in 3 innings and then 3 earned runs in 5 innings. But the last 2 starts against the Pirates, he did pretty well. So one was a start and one was a relief appearance. But I kind of agree. I think we might see some runs here. I don't hate the Cardinals team total over. You get all 9 at bats with the road team here. I'll definitely check the weather report for Pittsburgh, but I could get behind it over in this game. If you had a forced lean for me, I would probably look at the St. Louis Cardinals in this game. But big series for both these teams in the battle of the NL Central Division. All right, before we continue the conversation here, let me tell everyone about 2 contests that are happening over on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Well, if you're going to listen to this on Friday, you're probably going to miss out. But the NBA Finals, if you're watching live, make sure to get in that prop contest, series contest. I know myself, Lonte, I'm sure D-Rock are all in there for the NBA Finals. And also the Stanley Cup. Stanley Cup starts on Saturday. So we have 2 contests going on in the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. But you can only find it exclusively on the SGPN app. There's series props and game-by-game props. So make sure to go back into for every game and check the new props because, again, those points are going to add up. So make sure you have the Sports Gambling Podcast Network app. Just go to the Google Play Store or the App Store. Just download the SGPN app. Hit that contest tab. You'll see both links in there to join the respective contests. $100 SGPN gift card up for grabs for each of those contests. So, again, make sure to download the SGPN app and enter today. All right, guys, let's get over to the next game on the board. We will go over to Boston. Yeah, go ahead.
I was seeing I know we talked about the Red Sox already. Did Garrett get pulled? I seen him listed on some book. Whitlock, did he get pulled from the start?
Red Sox? Yeah, so this is a game we talked about at the top. I completely forgot. I don't see a starter for them yet.
Okay,
so
maybe when I did my notes earlier, I seen him listed. I think it was Glasnow versus Whitlock is what I saw. But
yeah,
maybe
I saw him too, but then he got pulled.
Yeah, okay, I thought so. Okay, that's okay. I just want to be for sure. Okay.
Yeah. So since we really don't have a pitcher, or we don't know the pitcher right now for the Red Sox, we can kind of skip over this game, Lonte, unless you have any thoughts for it if you want to add, but we can just move past it if you don't.
I mean, I'm interested to see how Tyler pitches. I know he was really good in his debut. I mean, he didn't get decision, but he pitched solid in that debut. 3 runs on 5 hits, 8 Ks over 4 in the third. I'm interested to see how they kind of bring him along and against against the Red Sox. It kind of, they got swept by Tampa in Fenway back in April. They raised 2+ runs in 3 of those 4 games. I think the offense for Tampa is kind of gonna get to the Red Sox regardless of pitching. Whitlock has pitched well though. I think he's just coming back from an injury, missed a little bit over a month. He pitched well against Arizona, if I'm not mistaken. I think Arizona was the he pitched against. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, I'm interested to see Tyler come back and get back into his what I thought was a pretty good career for Tampa. I think if he can go, 5 or 6, that would be a win for Tampa.
Yeah. I know Tampa's offense kind of did struggle against the Cubs in Wrigley Field, but Chicago, in Boston, I know the bullpen hasn't been very good, but the starters have actually been pretty good for the Red Sox. But this might be an opportunity where the Rays offense breaks out a little bit in this series. All right, guys, let's get over to the next game on the schedule. It's going to be another 7:10 Eastern start. Toronto Blue Jays, they are headed to Citi Field to take on the New York Mets. Chris Bassett goes up against his former team in the Mets. Justin Verlander gets the start here for the New York Mets. Plus 115 on the money line for the Blue Jays. Minus 135 for the home team in the New York Mets. Total set at 8.5. Run line minus 1.5 plus 145 for the Mets. And plus 1.5 minus 170 for the visiting team, the Toronto Blue Jays. Chris Bassett had a streak of scoreless or 3 starts where he had didn't give up any earned runs. That was 23 innings where he didn't allow any earned runs, and that was about 5 starts ago where it started, which was against the Pirates, the Braves, and the Yankees. Pretty good offenses there. In his last 2 starts on the road, he has gotten torched a little bit. In his last start against the Minnesota Twins, 4 innings pitched, he allowed 7 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 home runs. And then prior to that, against the Tampa Bay Rays, 6 1/3 inning pitch, 7 hits. He allowed 2 earned runs, 6 runs overall. 2 of them were earned. He also gave up 3 home runs in that game to the Tampa Bay Rays. And now he goes up against the New York Mets, who I know aren't scoring a lot of runs, but they're still finding ways to win with their pitching. We saw it over the last 2 nights where last 3 nights where they swept the division rival, the Philadelphia Phillies. Scherzer was phenomenal again on Thursday afternoon for this team. Now you have your second ace on the mound in Justin Verlander, who on the season thus far is 2-2 with a 4.80 ERA. Seems like he is struggling a little bit at Citi Field. He's 1-1 with a 4.85 ERA. His last start was against the Colorado Rockies in Colorado. 5 innings pitched, he allowed 6 earned runs. I'm not sure how much we can take away from it because, again, it is Colorado in Coors Field. But prior to that, he had a great outing against the Guardians. And then prior to that, he gave up another 6 earned runs to the Tampa Bay Rays. So if we're kind of following the pattern here for the Justin Verlander, it seems like he should have a pretty good outing here against the Toronto Blue Jays. I like the price here on Justin Verlander. I feel like we're getting a little bit of discount here at minus 135. I think Chris Bassett's struggles may continue here in Citi Field. So I'm going to take the New York Mets in this game, minus 135 on the money line. On the money line here. Dylan, this is your team. What are you thinking?
You know what? A few days ago, I don't know if you remember, but I said the Mets are going to get swept. They wound up sweeping the Phillies. So I think I should just continue to stick to the totals and not bet, because whenever I back them, they lose. When I fade them, they win. So let's go to the under. Unders hit last 3 games, like you said, very low scoring series between the Phillies. Every game went under the total. Blue Jays, they're in a travel situation. Bats may be a little tired. Like you said, I think this could be a good spot for Verlander. It's kind of been up and down with the Mets so far this season. He'll have a good game, then he'll give up 6 runs in 2 of his last 3 games. So I'm banking on a solid start for him tomorrow against a good lineup in the Blue Jays. And, I really thought on the other side, Chris Bassett, I really thought he turned things around in the month of May. And then last start, the Twins jumped all over him for 7 runs in 4 innings. But, outside of that start, he's been really locked in, pitching well for the Blue Jays. So I think we see a bounce back from both starters. I think we see another low-scoring game, maybe 4-2, 4-1 type of game. So I'm going to go under 8.5. I made my total 8.1.
Lonte?
Yeah, I'm right along with D-Rock with that total. I mean, the Mets I don't know what they're going to have to do at the deadline, but they got to get some offense going. They're relying on Scherzer and Verlander a lot. I mean, it's a lot to ask for. Both of those guys have to win and have to perform well with offense, just struggling like they do. I mean, I love to see it as a Yankee fan, but as a Met fan, I know it's tough to watch. But like both of you guys said, I think it's a good spot for the Mets and for Verlander in a bounce back game. I think he'll perform well at home. I'm a fan of Toronto, and I want to kind of turn it around. I got a World Series ticket on them, so I'm kind of hoping they turn around, but hopefully not tomorrow in this game, because I'll be all over the Mets and at under also.
All right, let's get over to the next game on the board. It's going to be an 8:05 Eastern start. Battle of AL West divisional teams this weekend. We got the Seattle Mariners. They are in Arlington to take on the Texas Rangers. Currently seeing Luis Castillo is going to get the start here for the Mariners, and John Gray gets a start here for the Texas Rangers. Looking at the lines for this game, the Mariners are a minus 125 road favorite, plus 105 on the money line for the Texas Rangers. Total set at 8.5. Little bit of vig towards the under at minus 115. Run line minus 1.5, plus 130 for the Mariners, and plus 1.5, minus 150 for the Texas Rangers. Lonte, take us away.
Yeah, man, I think Texas continues to get disrespected, man. Home dog. I know Castillo is he's got roughed up by Boston the last time out, 3 home runs, which is the most he's allowed this year. I like John Gray. He's pitched well. He's pitched well on the road against Seattle back on May 5th or May 8th. I'm sorry. He only gave up 1 run and 4 hits. Texas offense has been awesome at home. They're averaging 7.2 runs per game in their last 6 home games. 24 runs total in their last 2 home games, if you want to filter that out to current. Now, I don't know how much of that could be, taken serious by the opponent that they face, but I like Texas here, man. I mean, as long as John Gray can get us where the bullpen of Texas doesn't have to do anything substantial, because they do have a bottom 10 bullpen, and Seattle has a top 5 bullpen ERA-wise. So need Gray to go deep into this game to basically take some pressure off that bullpen. But I like Texas at home. I'm still kind of sour over the Yankees not getting Castillo. So take that for what it's worth.
Yeah, John Gray has been actually really good here for the Texas Rangers, at least over his last 4 starts. He's gone a combined, let's see here, 27 innings. Has only allowed 3 earned runs in that span. And the Texas Rangers have won his last 5 starts, 5 straight starts, I should say, when John Gray's on the mound. For the 5 starts, they've won by a minimum of 2 runs, and they've put up at least 5 runs in 4 of those 5 starts. So we know this offense is really good for the Texas Rangers when it is clicking. And like I mentioned, over his last 3 starts, a 0.90 ERA for John Gray, only allowed 2 earned runs. Has gotten a little bit of trouble at home in Arlington, but I think that was in a couple starts against the Arizona Diamondbacks, where he allowed 4 earned runs, and then against the Oakland A's of all teams, where he allowed 3 earned runs. He did face the Mariners in Seattle back on May 8th, which I think, Lonte, you mentioned that, 7 innings, only allowed 1 earned run. Then Luis Castillo, dominant at home, 4-1 with a 1.89 ERA, but on the road is where he's gotten into trouble. He's 0-1 with a 5.06 ERA. He's allowed 9 earned runs in just 16 innings pitched on the road. So I think I'm comfortable here with a Texas Rangers team total over. I also do like the Texas Rangers on the money line here. I think, you're right, Lonte. I think they're getting a little disrespected here. D-Rock, what do you got?
Yeah, I agree. Earlier in the day, I saw the Rangers at a plus 110. Couldn't get there, but now I see plus 118, plus 120. I agree. I think it's just gone a little too disrespectful as well. I like the home puppy. I also like the under 8.5. It's a little juicy at minus 120, but I think it's worth it. I made my line 7.6. Got 2 stud pitchers going in Luis Castillo and John Gray. Castillo numbers aren't the worst on the road. He's had that 1 bad start against the Red Sox, but outside of that, all of his other starts on the road have been good. All the games have gone under the number as well. John Gray, really good in May. 1.95 ERA in the month of May. Only 7 runs given up in 32 innings. Walks are down, which you love to see. I just think we see a lower scoring game with these 2 pitchers on the mound. Both pitchers have seen both these lineups as well, and both of the games that they pitched against each other went under. In fact, the whole series went under the number as well. So I feel like 8.5 is too high, and I think plus 118, plus 120 is a little too disrespectful for John Gray. So I'll take the home puppy, and I also like the under.
All right, next game on the board, a AL Central matchup between the Cleveland Guardians and the Minnesota Twins. Aaron Savali is what I'm seeing, who's going to get the start here for the Cleveland Guardians, and then Bailey Ober gets the start here for the Minnesota Twins. Twins are a minus 140 home favorite, plus 120 on the money line for the Cleveland Guardians. Total set at 8.5. Run line minus 1.5, plus 140 for the Twins, and plus 1.5, minus 165 for the Cleveland Guardians. This will be Aaron Savali's first start since, I believe it was April 7th. I believe he's been out with an injury. Has Aaron Savali trying to pull up his numbers here? I know it was only 2 starts, which were against both, I think, the Mariners this season. Yeah, so he's pitched a total of 12 2/3 innings, allowed 4 earned runs combined to the Seattle Mariners, 1 win and 1 loss in those games for the Cleveland Guardians. So Not really a lot of data to go off of. I will pull up his numbers on how he's done against the division rival here, Minnesota Twins. But Bailey Ober gets to start here for the Minnesota Twins. Looking at his numbers, where do they go? All right, here we go. So far this season, Bailey Ober 3-2 with a 2.68 ERA. At home, he's 1-2 with a 3.62 ERA, and on the road, he's really been dominant. But this is going to be a home start for him. Bailey Ober against the Guardians in his career, he is 1-1 with a 1.64 ERA, 18 strikeouts in 4 appearances, and this dates back to the 2021 season. Did have a start earlier this season against the Guardians in Cleveland. 7 shutout innings by Bailey Ober. He only allowed 3 hits in that game. He struck out 6 batters and only had 1 walk in that game. The Twins did go on to win that game 2-0. Aaron Savali in his career against the Minnesota Twins. Give me a second here as I try to pull that up. Let's see. Against the Twins, he is 1-4 with a 4.20 ERA. 2 starts last season, I believe. One definitely did result in a loss where the Twins won 12-8. And then the other start, the Guardians won that game 6-5. So they split last season. Both games did go over the total last year. If I'm going to trust the Twins, it's going to be within those first 5 innings. I've said this multiple times throughout this week where I just don't trust his bullpen for the Minnesota Twins. So I think Bailey Ober is going to continue to pitch well for the Minnesota Twins, especially against this Guardians team who, let's face it, they're struggling to score runs again this season. They really haven't done anything to address that. So I'm going to take the home team here, minus 140 with Bailey Ober on the mound. Again, take the first 5 innings. That's where my money's going to be at. But full game, gun to my head, I'm going to go with the Minnesota Twins. Lonte, what do you got?
Yeah, I'll stay away from the side, but I wouldn't disagree with you. I'd rather take them early, the Twins that is early on, than to have to rely on that bullpen. But I'm going to look at the under. I think both teams, they met back in early May. 3 straight unders in that series, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. I see 2-0, like you mentioned, 4-3 and 2-0 again. So I think we see much of the same here. I mean, familiar division foes. 8 of the last 10 for Cleveland have went under. 6 of the last 10 have went under for Minnesota. So I think we get a rock fight of a game, maybe a 2-3 or a 3-1 type of game here. So my main play would be the under. Maybe parlay the under and the Twins first 5 and get you a little plus price on that also.
Dylan, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm on the Twins here as well on the money line. I agree. I think the number is getting up there. I got them earlier in the day, minus 125, minus 140. That's the farthest I'd go. I did make them a minus 160 favorite. Simply put, I just think the Twins are a better team than the Guardians right now, especially in Minnesota. Twins 16-12 straight up at home this season. Guardians, they're under 500 on the road, 13-15 straight up. Twins took 2 or 3 from the Astros on the road. Now they're coming back home where they play much better. I just don't know what to expect from Aaron Savali. Like you said, he's only making his 3rd start of the season. His first 2 were against the Mariners. 1 good start, 1 poor start. I kind of want to see a little more out of him after coming off of that IL. So I agree. I want to see the number at first 5 money line or minus a half, but I agree it is getting up there, and I just expect it to even grow higher. So back to Twins in the first 5, and I also agree with Lonte on the under. I made my total 7.9.
All right, next game on the board, 8:10 Eastern Star. The Colorado Rockies are going to travel to Kansas City. They're going to take on the Royals. Chase Anderson is going to get the start here for the Rockies. He was supposed to start on Thursday for the Rockies, but I think Connor Siebold got the start there, and Chase Anderson got pushed back on the road here in Kansas City. Jordan Lyles, it's Jordan Lyles day for the Kansas City Royals. They are a minus 120 favorite. Even money for the Colorado Rockies. Total is set at 9 with a little bit of vig towards the over at minus 115. Run line minus 1.5 plus 165 for the Rockies and plus 1.5 minus 195 for the Kansas City Royals. I'll start by saying this. Anytime it's Jordan Lyles Day, I always put out the tweet that the year fee, if you're a yes or if you're first inning better, I think it's now 10 of 11 starts that Jordan Lyles has made have cashed on the year fee. There has been a run scored in that first inning. I think his last start, he was pretty good for the Royals. up until I think it was the later innings where he got blown up. I think it was a fourth or fifth inning, but he's allowed at least 4 earned runs in what is this? Golly. In every single start. Oh my God. In every single start, except for one, which was against the Rangers back on April 17th. He does give up his fair share of walks as well. 3 straight starts where he's allowed 3 walks at least. He also gives up the home run as well. And the Kansas City Royals have lost every single one of his starts that he has made this season. So he's not very good, is I think putting it very nicely. Chase Anderson on the other side for the Colorado Rockies, he's been really good. We talked about him yesterday, so I'm not going to really regurgitate everything. But on the season, he has a 1.31 ERA, 10 strikeouts, 5 walks. He started 3 games so far for the Rockies, which came against the, the Mets, the Marlins, and the Reds. The Rockies have won 3 out of his 5 starts so far this season. I'm going to go with the Rockies here. I'm not betting on a pitcher that hasn't, or the team hasn't won a single game that he has started in. He's prone to giving up runs. He's going to do it again. Bet on that Yerfie. It's 10 of 11 in the starts for Jordan Lyles. And also take a look at Colorado Rockies team total over in the first 5 innings. If that number's at 2.5, I'm going to be all over that number. So Rockies for me, Rockies team total over. And again, for you Nerfy and Yerfie bettors, get on that yes for the first inning here. Lonte, what do you got for this game?
Yeah, man, I couldn't have said it better myself. What a disgusting game this is going to be. As a favorite on the season, Kansas City is 1-6, 21 at home. So, I mean, all signs point to the Rockies here. I would probably just lean towards the team total, like Munaf mentioned. Colorado's not road 9-19. They are 5-5 in their last 10. So some positives to look at right there. I mean, going against Kansas City as a dog, I mean, kind of disrespectful. I'm interested to see what D-Rock has for his numbers, and I'm pretty sure he made Colorado a favorite. They got to be a small favorite here, right?
Yeah, I made the Rockies a minus 120 favorite. I actually had it flipped. I won't spend too much time on this one, guys. Give me the over. Give me the yes for runs first inning. Rockies team total. If it's at 2.5 first 5, that's just they're asking you. Yeah, it's just criminal at that point. Lyles is just bad, and he's favored against the Rockies, who've actually been hitting the ball, and like Lonte says, shown some positive play. They're leading 3-2 right now against a very good Diamondback team. So I think there will be times to back Lyles at like a crazy plus price, but laying minus 120 with him, he's like Munaf said, he's given up 4 or 5 runs in every one of his start besides the first one. Not to mention the Royals have lost every game he started. Chase Anderson, ever since coming over from Tampa, he's been all right. He's gone 5 innings in 3 straight starts, only allowing 3 runs in 15 innings. This will be his first start on the road with the Rockies, but I'm not too concerned. The Royals are only hitting 227 off of righties. I think Lyles lets up a few runs in the first inning. I think we see a high-scoring game. So, yeah, I agree with everyone. And as I mentioned, that Rockies just hit a home run. So, Rockies bats are producing right now. So, Rockies team total, yes, runs first inning, just everything. Going to fade the Royals.
He's allowed at least 2 home runs in 7 out of 10 starts. At least 2 home runs he's allowed, has Jordan Lyles. So definitely get all over the Rockies here. All right, guys, next game on the board, we have a 8:10 Eastern start. We got the LA Angels. They are going to be in Houston. They're going to take on the Houston Astros. Shohei Ohtani gets to start here for the LA Angels, and Framber Valdez, who was supposed to go on Thursday, does get pushed back here to the Friday start for the Astros. This is going to be a nice pitching matchup between Ohtani and Valdez. I'm currently seeing the Angels are a plus 115 road underdog, minus 135 on the money line for the Houston Astros. 7.5 is the total. Run line minus 1.5 plus 165 for the Astros, and plus 1.5 minus 195 for the LA Angels. D-Rock, take us away.
Yeah, the lines literally opened up maybe like 30 minutes, 40 minutes before we jumped on here, and I was able to get the Angels at a plus 130. I took that immediately with Ohtani on the mound. Plus 115, I it's a right around my number. I did make the Astros a -120 favorite. Maybe you want to look towards the Shohei K prop. He does strike out a lot of batters. He did lose to the Astros at the beginning of May, only 3-1, so it was a lower scoring game. Not his best outing, but I think this could be a nice revenge spot for him. Frambo Valdez, like we mentioned yesterday, he's just 1-4 at home this season. He's good, and he really had a nice, strong outing against the Angels, 8 strikeouts in 8 innings, or 12 strikeouts, excuse me, in 8 innings, and just +115, +130 with Shohei on the mound. I think it's kind of disrespectful. So I'm going to take a flyer with the Halos here as a dog.
Lonte Otani, what do you got?
Yeah, man, look, I don't want to bet against my 10th cousin, but I'm probably going to do it. I think Valdez getting pushed back a day is going to be beneficial to him. I think it's going to help his confidence, velocity, and just his location against the Halos. I mean, I didn't get 130, but I probably would have took like 125, 130. I see 110, 115 right now. I don't want to play Houston late. I want to rather get them early on while Valdez is still spinning. So I would look at the first 5. Also would look at a first 5 under. I think D-Rock brought it up as far as it was a 3-2 game the last time they played. I think we can see a 1-0 or even a tie game here. If you can get, let me look. I'm trying to get an updated number for the first. It's not even out yet, but if you can get somewhat of a solid number on the money line for Houston first 5, I think that's a better look than the full game.
Yeah, Valdez has had a lot of success in his career against the Angels. He's 4-1. So this goes back to 2021, 4-1 with a 3.14 ERA, 52 strikeouts and 7 appearances. And I think we mentioned this yesterday on the show, Dylan, that Valdez has at least double-digit strikeouts in 2 out of his last 3 starts against the Angels, which includes this season on May 9th, where he did get with the Astros, he get a 3-1 victory against the Angels in LA. In that game, Valdez went 8 innings, allowed only 1 earned run, which was a home run, like I think Dylan mentioned yesterday, 12 strikeouts in that game. So I'm gonna go with the Astros here. I think that anytime I see Otani on the mound is a guy that I want to back when he's at home. He does struggle a little bit on the road, but again, the numbers are still really good for Otani on the road. But I think that, like Lonte mentioned, getting Valdez an extra day off, I think that just is only going to help him in this game. So I'm going to take the Astros here, -135 on the money line against Shohei Otani and the LA Angels. Next game on the board, guys, is going to be a 9:40 Eastern start. We got the Chicago Cubs. They are in San Diego to take on the Padres. Jameson Taillon gets a start here for the Chicago Cubs, and Michael Walker gets a start here for the San Diego Padres. +135 on the money line for the visiting team, the Cubs, and -155 home favorites for the Padres. 8.5 is a total with a little bit of vig towards the over at -115. Run line +1.5, -150 for the Cubbies, and -1.5, +130 for the San Diego Padres. I'll lead it off here, man. This one's pretty simple. I mean, Jameson Taillon has been absolutely atrocious for the Chicago Cubs. You kind of just take a look at his numbers and the record so far this season. Like Jordan Lyles, the Chicago Cubs have lost every single one of Jameson Taillon's starts. In 9 starts, they are 0-9 in those games, and a lot of those games have flown over the total. Over his last 4 starts, he's allowed at least 4 earned runs in every single one of those starts, and each one of those starts has seen at least 10 runs combined in those games, and each of the opposition has scored at least 6 runs, 6 by the Cardinals, 6 by the Astros, 12 by the Phillies, and 8 by the Cincinnati Reds. On the season, 0-3 with a 8.04 ERA, and on the road, he's 0-1 with a 7.80 ERA. 15 innings pitched in those games. He's allowed 13 earned runs in those spots on the road. Michael Wacha, on the other hand, has been absolutely fantastic so far for the San Diego Padres. Thus far this season, he's 5-1 with a 3.45 ERA at home, 3-1 with a 3.38 ERA, 11 earned runs allowed in 29 1/3 innings pitched. His last 5 starts, he's been absolutely brilliant. But over his last 3 starts, he's 2-0 with a .90 ERA, 20 innings pitched, and only allowed 2 earned runs in that span. So this one's pretty simple for me. I like the Padres here. The bats do concern me, but I know they broke out a little bit in Miami, so hopefully they can carry that momentum going back into San Diego. I know it's a long road trip from Miami to San Diego, but if this was any other pitcher on the mound for the Cubs, I would be on the Cubs. But for a team that hasn't won any of its starts, Jameson Taillon has been absolutely atrocious. I'm going to take the San Diego Padres -1.5 plus 130 on the run line here. Lonte, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm with you. Jameson's been horrible, which is good to see now that he left the Yankees. So I'm glad he's being horrible for somebody else. But yeah, man, I mean, I don't think like the Cubs 9-15 ATS on the road, 4-5 in the last 9. I think you highlighted it perfectly with the Taillon splits. Like you said, San Diego, I was listening to you guys yesterday, and it was kind of the like, is San Diego going to wake up today? Or, well, I guess it would be tomorrow when you said it, but you get what I'm saying. Like, would the bats wake up? I mean, they came alive today, 10 runs, if I'm not mistaken, unless they scored while I wasn't looking. But yeah, I think they carried that momentum over. Jump on that first 5 team total over for San Diego, because Jameson is likely to like lose. He'll lose it, and they'll get going. And once San Diego gets going, it's hard to stop them. So I'm with you on San Diego. I would also love to play the team total over in the first 5.
Yes, sir. D-Rock, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go under 8.5 here. I can't lay this big of a number with the Padres. I only made them a -140 favorite. I don't want to back Taillon either. So I lean first 5 under. I lean full game under. The Cubs have lost every start Taillon has made this season. And teams are 6-2 on the run line when Taillon is on the mound. Never goes past the 5th inning and usually gives up 4 or 5 runs per start at home or on the road. 6 of his 8 starts have gone over the total as well. So, you know, Joe Musgrove, on the other hand, over a 7 ERA at home. He's gotten lit up, 4 runs to the Red Sox, 7 runs to the Giants. He did have a good outing against the Dodgers, but I don't trust either pitcher. I want to clarify. I meant to say first 5 over. So give me the first 5 over. One shout out Gary Sanchez, hit a home run today. He's being passed around like I don't even know a good analogy, but he's being passed around. But he finally he helped that offense break out. And I got a question for both of you. The books that I use, I can't get first 5 team totals. Do you guys use offshore accounts?
I am in Texas, so you do the math.
Well, I'm in North Carolina, where obviously sports betting is legal, but it's not like mobile. Like, it's only you have to go to a location, and the horror casino is like 4 hours away. So basically, I'm like 30 minutes from Virginia, so I just drive up. Like, I can just get on the apps and start firing. But yeah, offshores usually are better with baseball team totals in the first 5. But you can get them at, I think,
you get them from offshore accounts for sure. I think Bet Online and like Bovada should have them.
Yeah, also I think it's some I think Bet Rivers, PointsBet should have team total first 5 team totals also, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I just got to find a better book. Or Munaf, you let me know the number of your bookie.
Yeah, we'll keep, we can connect offline about that. Anything else for this game, guys?
No.
Nope. All right. So I mentioned that we had skipped over the White Sox game because no pitcher for them yet. So we got 2 games left here on the board. Let's go over to the Atlanta Braves. They are going to head to the desert to take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Charlie Morton gets to start here for the Braves, and Merrill Kelly is on the mound for the Arizona Diamondbacks. -130 road favorites here for the Atlanta Braves, and +110 on the money line for the home puppy here, the Arizona Diamondbacks. Total is set at 9 with a little bit of vig towards the over at -120. Run line -1.5 +130 for the Braves, and +1.5 -150 for the Arizona Diamondbacks. D-Rock, take us away.
Yeah, I really wanted to take the D-backs at a plus price at home, but my numbers did make the Braves a -130 favorite, and I don't know if we'll be able to get to a +130 with the Snakes, but I do like the under 9 at even money I'm seeing, so I made my total 8.3. Merrill Kelly has been great this month. Outside of that one game at home against the Marlins where he gave up 4 runs, they did lose that game, but outside of that, he's only allowed 2 or more runs one time in his last 5 starts. I think he'll be able to limit the Braves team, who don't necessarily hit righties all that well. 237 on the year. Braves offense kind of slumping right now. They lost the series to the A's, which I did not think was possible. They only scored 7 runs in those 3 games. A's scored 11. So D-backs at home this season, 12-16 toward the under. I think we see a 4-2, maybe 4-3 type game. So give me the under, especially at even money.
Yeah, Merrill Kelly has actually been really good over his last couple of starts here, and actually throughout the season. I'm trying to actually put up his numbers, but 6-3 on the season, 2.83 ERA, 69 strikeouts to 25 walks. Last 5 games, he's 4-0 with a 2.59 ERA, 31 1/3 innings pitched. He's only allowed 9 earned runs in that span. So, and the Arizona Diamondbacks have won 4 of his last 5 starts. He's had at least 9 strikeouts in 3 of his last 5 games as well. Just did really have one bad start in that span, which was against the Miami Marlins back on May 10th. But other than that, he's been really solid for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And against the Braves in his career, he is 0-2 with a 4.05 ERA. And for whatever reason, this past early in the week, the Atlanta Braves offense was just anemic against the Oakland A's when the pitching rotation that is the worst in the league. The bullpen isn't very good either. They weren't able to score more than 4 runs in any of the games. They did get that 4-2 victory in the last game of the series to salvage and not getting swept by the worst team in the league. But I think, yeah, we do see a pitcher's duel here between these two teams. I can get behind the under here. I'll take a shot with the underdogs here, the Arizona Diamondbacks. That they've kind of been our darling on the podcast this season. They're our adopted team this season on the MLB Gambling Podcast. So I'll take the Diamondbacks here at the plus price. Lonte, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Give me the Fighting Randy Johnsons at a plus price. They're one of the better ATS teams in the league. They've covered 7 of the last 10, 18-12 at home. They really will as an underdog, 17-15. And the Braves, like you mentioned, I mean, the offense just didn't have it in Oakland for whatever reason. I'm not sure if there is a valid reason to not have it against the Oakland A's, which is probably should be relegated to the Little League World Series. But I mean, they're 4-6 in the last 10. I think D-Rock brought up a great point when he was talking about how their bats are just they're not getting to where they need to be or where they were earlier in the season. Still to be respected, but I like Arizona at home here. Like you guys both mentioned, I mean, Kelly's been awesome outside of that one hiccup he had. So give me the home team. What are they, +1? I don't know if plus. I see
+110 on DraftKings.
Yeah,
okay.
+110.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'll take this like plus money dog at home.
All right, 2 games left on the board here. Penultimate game between probably the series of the weekend. It is the New York Yankees. They are in LA to take on the Dodgers. I'm seeing Luis Severino is going to get the start here for the New York Yankees, and Clayton Kershaw gets to start here for the LA Dodgers. +120 on the money line for the New York Yankees and -140 on the money line for the LA Dodgers. Total set at 8.5 with a little bit of vig towards the under at -115. Run line -1.5 +145 for the Dodgers and +1.5 -170 for the New York Yankees. Dylan, take us away.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Dodgers here at home. I got them earlier, like I do a lot of these. I make my bets usually early in the day. I got it at -125. Made them a -145 favorite. They're at -140. That's the highest I'd take the Dodgers here. But Kershaw at home this season, he's been fantastic. 3-1 on the year, 1.13 ERA, only 3 runs given up in 24 innings. Batters only hitting 194 off of him, 184, excuse me. And I just think this is a generous price we're getting with the much better pitcher at home where he's been dominant. Luis Severino, he has looked good in his return. This is going to be his 3rd start, but I can make the argument it hasn't been against the best lineup. So I do think the Dodgers will be a much bigger test at home. I think we see a lower type game. I like the under 8.5. I made my total 8.1. But at home, I think the Dodgers edge out a close one against the Yankees. So give me the Dodgers, and I lean under as well.
Yeah, Severino's second, or this will be his third start this season. Is what I'm trying to say. He's pitched against the Cincinnati Reds and then also against the Padres in his last start, which was back on May 27th. He's gone 4 2/3 innings in one start and then 6 2/3 innings for the other start against the Padres. So it seems like they're trying to keep his pitches maybe around 80. Maybe Lonte knows more because he is the Yankees fan. But Yankees have struggled against left-handed pitching thus far this season. And the numbers are kind of up and down, but you take a look at team batting average. They're number 28 out of 30 teams against left-handed pitching. On base percentage does go up a little bit to 14th in the league. Slugging against left-handed pitching, it drops down to number 22. So kind of up and down in the WRC plus. They are number 16. So right around league average against left-handed pitching. But, like Dylan mentioned, Clayton Kershaw has been really good thus far this season. I mean, he looks like he's in Cy Young form right now for the Dodgers, honestly. Back-to-back starts, he did allow 4 earned runs to the opposition, which were on the road, but this has been another pitcher that's been really good at home for the Dodgers, 3-1 with a 1.12 ERA. So I'll take the Dodgers here on the money line. I still like it at minus 140. I would still lay that minus 140 price with the Dodgers here with Clayton Kershaw on the mound here. Lonte, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I can see this game going both ways. I could see a shootout where everybody is the bats are working. I can also see a game playing out where Sevy and Kershaw just are unhittable. And like both of you guys mentioned, Kershaw has been awesome against the Yankees in his career. I don't got the numbers in front of me. Maybe I should have had those in front of me to make a better case. But just as a Yankees fan, I remember him just being dominant against us, whether that would be at home or in Yankee Stadium. But I think I'm going to lean with the Dodgers here. The Seattle game kind of worried me. We go from 10 runs in back-to-back games to just nothing, to not being able to do anything. And that's kind of concerning to me. Left-hand pitchers do give the Yankees problems, like you both of you guys mentioned. So I'm going to lean with the Dodgers here. I'm also going to go with the over. I think it'll be run scored. 8 of the last 10 for the Dodgers have went over. 14 of the 27 road games have went over for the Yankees. So I think we see some runs here. But like I said earlier, I wouldn't be surprised if it's I could see a 3-4 type of game, or I could see a 9-8 type of game.
All right, last game on the board. It's going to be the Baltimore Orioles. They are in San Francisco to take on the Giants. I'm seeing Dean Kremer is going to get the start here for the Baltimore Orioles, and Logan Webb gets a start here for the San Francisco Giants. Orioles are plus 130 on the money line, minus 150 for the home team here, the San Francisco Giants. Total set at 8, a little bit of vig towards the under. Run line minus 1.5, plus 135 for the Giants, and plus 1.5, minus 155 for the Baltimore Orioles. Dean Kremer so far this season, 5-2 with a 4.58 ERA. On the road, 2-1 with a 4.15 ERA. Perfect 5-0 at night so far this season with a 3.15 ERA. He is coming off of a loss against the Texas Rangers where he did go 6 1/3 inning, allowed 3 earned runs, 2 walks in that game. He did strike out 5 batters in that game. The Orioles did win 4 of his last 5 previous starts, and the only loss, like I mentioned, was against the Rangers in his last start. Logan Webb takes the ball here for the San Francisco Giants, and he's been absolutely fantastic. He got off to a little bit of a rough start within the first 3 starts this season, but since then he hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs in any of his starts. So at least over the last 4 starts, he's allowed a combined 3 earned runs in 20 innings pitched for the San Francisco Giants, and he's actually been really good. The only problem is that he's not getting the run support. Kind of take a look at some of the final scores over the last 3 games: a 2-1 loss to the Diamondbacks, a 1-0 loss to the Marlins, and a 3-1 victory for the Milwaukee Brewers. So over his last 3 starts, the Giants have only provided 4 runs of support to Logan Webb. But we talked about this a lot last season, the previous season, that Logan Webb has been a guy that you want to back at home. He's 19-12 with a 2.84 ERA, 252 strikeouts in 45 career appearances for the Giants at home. So I'm going to take the Giants here. I may look at a strikeout prop for Logan Webb against the Orioles, but I do like the Giants in this game with Logan Webb at home. So I may entertain the price of the minus 1.5 at plus 135 as well. Also do like the under in this game. Again, this might be one of those scrap it out type of games where it's like a 3-0, 3-1 type of victory for the Giants. So run line for me here for the San Francisco Giants, minus 1.5. Dylan, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna be on the other side in this one. I'm gonna take the birds. Plus 135. I still like it at a plus 130. I only made the Giants a minus 130 favorite. Deem Craner, it's kind of started the season a little slow, but he has picked up in the last month of May. I want to see if it can continue into the month of June. He's 5-2 on the year, and Orioles do win most of his starts. Giant coming off 2 straight losses to the Buccos. Orioles 18-9 straight up on the road this season. I just like the value here with the birds. I think they are a better hitting team. I would be careful betting on the total. We do have 10-mile-an-hour winds blowing out, but
Good point.
I don't know. I just think at plus 130, getting the birds in a much better lineup. I don't know. I'm not really high on Webb either. That's my issue. So I'm going to take the other side. I'm going to take the Orioles here.
All right. Lonte, what do you got?
Yeah, honestly, I was gonna be on the total to go over until you just said that. I was just looking at the weather report. I see the winds. 21 of the 21 of the 27 games, road games for Baltimore has went over. Full disclosure, I have no idea what to do with either of these teams. I was betting on San Francisco early in the season. I don't know if you guys remember, but it seemed like they were blowing every lead that they had at one time, like for like 2 weeks straight. And I'm telling you, I was on every single game that they blew. Then flip it back over to Baltimore. I was on them, and it seemed like they couldn't get. They went from like mashing the ball to not being able to get on base. So I have no idea what to do with either of these teams. Probably it'll be a pass. My favorite look was going to be the total until D-Rock hurt my feelings with that 10 miles per hour wind. I would look at a Logan K prop. I think that's a good look by you, Munaf. He's been extremely valuable at home. Maybe some Adley total base props also, because I think he'll be able to get to. I think he'll be able to get to Logan in certain spots, depending on the lineup and everything, how everything shakes out. But yeah, I'm leaning to the Orioles here, but nothing strong.
All right, last game that was for the Friday schedule, 15 games. Again, we were missing pitchers for just a White Sox game and the Red Sox. So again, like I mentioned, Joe, if we do have picks for this game, it will be on the website on sportsgamblingpodcast.com/MLB picks. One order of business left here, gentlemen. That is going to be our lock and dog for the Friday schedule. D-Rock, why don't you kick us off?
All right, we will start with my lock, and we'll go back to the second or first game we talked about between the A's and Marlins. Give me the Marlins on the run line. You can actually still get it at a plus price, plus 105. I see even money out there. I just think Edward Cabrera is just a much different pitcher at home than on the road. And batters are only hitting 222 off of him. I think they demolish Hogan Harris. Marlins, they crush left-handed pitching as well. 299, almost 300 on the season. So I think the Fish win comfortably here at home. So as my lock, I am going to take the Marlins on the run line. And as my dog, I did have a few home puppies I liked. But let's go to the nation's capital. Let's go to DC. I'll take the Nationals. I'll take a stab at them. Phillies not looking good right now. They just got swept by the Mets, and their bats kind of have gone cold a little bit. And I just think JoJo Gray will continue to have his dominant stretch at home. He hasn't allowed more than one run. And besides that one star at home, he's been lights out. So I'm going to go with the plus price here with the Nationals at home as my dog.
All right. Lonte, what do you got? Lock and dog.
Yeah, man. So I'm going to go with actually a dog for my lock. And I'm going to go with the Texas Rangers, man, plus money at home where they absolutely have been killing it. 24 runs in the last 2 games, averaging about 7 per game in their last 6 home games. So I think that, John Gray has to go 6, maybe 6 1/3. Or I mean, 6 1/3 maybe to get them in a good position where they won't have to rely on the bullpen a lot, because like I said in the handicap, I think they have one of the worst bullpens, at least a bottom 10 bullpen ERA wise in the MLB. So I think the offense will get to Castillo, maybe not right away, but maybe like within that 3rd or 4th inning, you see the Texas bat start working second time through the lineup. So give me Texas as my lock at home. You can get plus, if you shop around, you can get like plus 113, 114-ish for that. And for my dog, I'm going to go with another home dog, man. I'm going with the Snakes, plus 110 on the money line at home. I think Atlanta's bat struggles might come back to haunt them in this game. Like we mentioned, Kelly playing well at home, so I think he pitches a gem and he gets the outright win for the Snakes here at home.
All right, love it. All right, for my lock, I actually have 2 plus prices again, like yesterday. So for my lock, let me give you the bigger dog. I'll save that for my dog. Let me see which one's the bigger price. Okay, so for my lock, I'm gonna take the St. Louis Cardinals on the run line, -1.5, +120 against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Jack Flaherty, it seems like he's found some form here as of late. At least over his last 4 starts, he's been really good. Last 3 starts, he's 1-0 with a 1.93 ERA, 18 2/3 innings pitched. He's only allowed 4 earned runs in that span, 19 strikeouts. The walks are a little bit of a concern for him, as they have been all season long, but I think that he can kind of get that under control against the Pirates team. On the other side, Contreras, over his last 5 starts, he's 0-3 with a 5.18 ERA. And the Pirates have lost his last 5 starts. All 5 starts have come by at least 2 or more runs. If you kind of go back and look at the game log, I'm not going to read out all the numbers, but they have lost each of those last 5 starts by 2 runs minimum. Strikeouts and the walks ratio isn't very good for him either. 36 strikeouts to 23 walks for Contreras. So I think the Cardinals bats should be able to get to him as well. And I think Flaherty will continue his success against the Pirates. In his career, like I said, 9-1 with a 2.57 ERA. I know recently he hasn't been very good, but I think that the momentum he has right now, at least over his last 4 starts, he can pitch well against the Pirates. And then for my dog, I'm going to fade Jameson Taillon, man. A pitcher that, or a team that hasn't won any of his starts thus far this season. And I think that with Michael Walk on the mound, I think that he can have success as well. This is going to be the game where we should see the Pirates offense break out. I know we saw it against the Marlins. Hopefully they're able to carry that momentum back home in San Diego against the Cubs, and especially against Jameson Taillon. So at -1.5 +130, I'm going to take that Padres as my dog of the day. All right, gentlemen, that is going to do it for this edition of the MLB Gambling Podcast. Dylan, anything else you want to mention before we get out of here, buddy?
No. I love how we all went with plus money for our locks and dog. You know, it's like that meme with Paul Rudd. Hey, look at us. You know, I love that. But yeah, no, go over, check on the WNBA podcast. Full slate. We only got 1 game tonight, but 4 games tomorrow. So go over and check that out. And yeah, guys, have a good weekend and good luck. Rate, review, and subscribe.
Yep. Lonte, anything else?
No, man, I appreciate you guys having me. Good luck to everybody out there. And I think Dylan said it best. Rate, review, subscribe, get those numbers up for us. Appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Make sure to follow the MLB Gambling Podcast account at MLB SGPN. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already to the MLB Gambling Podcast on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button for us before you guys get out of here. Follow Dylan on Twitter at Rock with 2 Ks, ROCKK24. Follow Lonte on Twitter at XXLonteXX. You can follow me on Twitter at SportsNerd824. We'll be back tomorrow with our Turbo episode, Lock, Dog, and Total, and we'll discuss another division future as part of our future Fridays episodes on Friday. So I'll be back with someone tomorrow, but look out for that. Usual time, 5 p.m. Eastern. Good luck with your bets, guys. Let's break these books off and let it ride.